But he probably would have been better off going for this expansion here, because it probably wouldn't have been spotted by Shava, and Shava probably would have been killed in this attack either way, and he would have a much closer expansion, which would have been easier for him to continue his economy. Spelling's telling Shava, good game, you know, you lost, dude, because he destroyed all of his stuff. But Shava is down there. He has 2,400 minerals stacked, and he is filling up some pylons. He does have that force, you can throw up some cannons, and he does have the high yield, and he does have the economic advantage against Spelling, because Spelling is entirely cut off right now. He has one SCV down there working, and he has 42 minerals. So, I mean, Shava really needs to do something quick. Spelling needs to do something quick, because Shava is going to pull ahead. He is throwing down a bunch of photon cannons, so that is going to be enough to stop these Marines from attacking these bases. Photon cannons are real effective against, you know, especially if you get a lot of photon cannons, they're real effective against Zerglings and Marines. So again, that's part of the disadvantage of just having one unit mass. He's trying to, I don't even know what he's building there, I missed it. Throw down that pylon, which is now going to be destroyed, and Spelling, I guess, just got a little overconfident. He's not really even doing much. He just has this SCV just sitting there, so he's probably just gotten a little overconfident. He is transferring these SCVs from here down here to help improve his economy. But Shava does have the economic advantage. Only thing he's got, Spelling's got going for him now is his standing forces. They are much greater than Shava's, but he can't really attack this. He really needs siege tanks to be able to crack this this defense that Shava has set up here. And finally, Spelling does have the SCVs down here. He's starting to collect some minerals, get his economy rolling again, throwing down some missile turrets. Shava doing some reconnaissance. Gonna break this these rocks, or this destructible debris. It's gonna expose Spelling to attacks on his command center right here. Spelling does not have this reconnoitered yet, but he did just walk his Marines into a death trap there with all these missile turrets, supported by these photon cannons, supported by this colossi. Those Marines are going to go down in seconds. He managed to kill 2 photon cannons total, so definitely a dangerous move for Spelling there. He lost his whole army, and he does have some forces here at his base, but Shava still has the economic advantage with this gold high yield, and he is pushing out with whatever force he does have to try and take out this command center, which is going to essentially put an end to Spelling's economy, which is bad news for Spelling because he just got his economy working again, and now he's sending out his SCVs, which is kind of a waste of SCVs to fight. He probably should lift the command center off and try to get it out of there. But I guess he has nothing else to do with these SCVs, and that is, he does still have this command center here. He could move here, but basically Spelling's economy was just shut down, which gives Shava an opportunity to make his comeback in this game. Sorry if that was quiet. I kind of leaned back a bit. But Shava is throwing down his warp gates, and has produced some colossi, which is exactly what he needed to do to counter those Marines. And now, with the help of this probe, he is destroying this command center here. Spelling is making a move now, finally, to try and defend his command center, but it's a little late, because Shava does have out some zealots and some colossi, which are going to be real effective against these Marines. Those colossi will have the range, because I believe they have that thermal lance upgrade. I don't know where I can check that. But he decided to engage these cannons. He's sending those Marines to fight the zealot colossi army, which is not a good idea. He probably should have those siege tanks trying to fire down those colossi, but instead he had them firing on these cannons in the structures, which was a huge mistake. Had Spelling been able to win that engagement, Shava would have been in a lot of trouble, and he probably would have had a chance had he tried to focus down these colossi with those siege tanks. But instead, he chose to attack these structures, which was a big mistake, and those marines got melted away, which just left those siege tanks exposed. But he was able to take care of those zealots. But yeah, that gives Shava the perfect opportunity to make his comeback here. Spelling just lost his whole army and has no economy right now, so he is extremely vulnerable. Shava is just about mined out, but he is still getting money and he is still producing units, which puts him at an advantage against Spelling, who has just nothing right now. And here's Spelling coming up to the middle expansion, which he could have taken a long time ago. Perhaps he should have taken a long time ago. But he just is now getting it and is starting to produce some SCVs to try and get his economy rolling again. And that's, I mean, Spelling had the advantage. It was just he lost his economy. He lost his ability to produce units, which made him exposed and vulnerable to Shava. And now Spelling has nothing. He's just getting his economy back into place again, starting to produce again, but these colossi are coming to destroy these missile turrets. They have much better range in the missile turrets, so they are able to stay back and hit those. And Spelling just doesn't have anything. He doesn't have marines, he doesn't have siege tanks, he doesn't have anything to deal with these colossi. He probably should be producing some siege tanks right now, but he isn't. I guess he opted to spend that money on some more SCVs. And he has these marines. Sorry, I'm a little congested. He has these marines making a move against these colossi, but they didn't last long. They just got incinerated. Just wasn't enough. He probably really should get some siege tanks out. Get some armor to try and fight these colossi. They probably still wouldn't stand much of a chance, though, especially with this board right here to support those colossi. He has some more marines. He's still continuing to produce marines to try and make one last desperate effort to defend his base. But he's probably not going to be able to produce enough to handle these colossi, these two colossi. These colossi are fairly strong units, and you can kill marines fairly quickly. So Spelling is losing all of his structures and his main base and everything right now, and is being basically driven back into this corner. He's doing what he can to rebuild, having to start from the ground up with his barracks, trying to start his tech tree over. He probably could lift off some of these structures instead of just leaving them here to get destroyed. But I guess he wants to keep producing marines to the end, assuming he might have a chance. But he really doesn't now that there are 5 colossi at Spelling's base. Spelling definitely is not going to be able to have the units to deal with these colossi, especially since he has nothing but marines. He really needs some fighting. But he didn't get any tech, and the only tech he got were siege tanks, and kind of squandered those siege tanks a while back in that engagement. Lost them. So those marines definitely didn't stand a chance with those colossi. And so that is it. Spelling is going to lose everything he has here. The missile turret's getting a couple shots off on the colossi, but they did back off for safety, and that's it. Now Spelling, I don't imagine Spelling's going to be able to come back at this point. I mean, he's trying to build some structures and stuff, but basically, which I've seen before, and I can't deny I've done it before. Spelling is now turtling up on this little island, which is something Terrans have a tendency to do, because they do have that floating command center and those floating structures, which they could just float right over to this island. So that is something Terrans have a tendency to do on this map if they're losing. But and it's easy to defend since there's no ground routes to this island. You only can get air units there, and if you put up some missile turrets near the borders, that can ward off the majority of air units. So it is easy to defend. It is easy to place a turtle. The problem is you're cut off from the rest of the map, and as we see here, Shava is basically posting sentries at every single mineral expansion to make sure spelling doesn't go anywhere. And he's trying to crack this command center with this void ray right now, but this missile turret is going to complete, and that void ray is going to retreat because it did not want to die. It was almost out of health. He's doing what he can to harass these SCVs and kill this command center, but it is being healed right now, and so Shava is not able to destroy it. You probably should try and focus down those SCVs, but some Marines came in and did finish off that void ray, and that put an end to that harassment there. Yeah, as I was saying, Shava has camped or has units standing guard at all these mineral expansions, so that is going to prevent spelling from taking any of these expansions without Shava knowing. He does have a couple unguarded, this one and this one, but hopefully he can get some units. Well, he will. He'll get some units watching those here pretty soon. And now, basically all that's happening now is spelling is making one last final stand on this island, turtling up, and since he can't expand, he has a limited number of units he's going to produce, and basically Shava has complete map control, so he just controls all these mineral fields outside of this one, and just has all the freedom and flexibility in the world, can do whatever he wants, and that puts spelling at a huge disadvantage. And why he is still continuing to produce Marines, I don't know. He probably should get some infrastructure, probably some air units, maybe even some battle cruisers. Maybe you're able to build a mass battle cruiser army in time. He might have a chance. I didn't invest in it right now, but he really doesn't. And I'm talking right now because nothing much is really going on. I mean, Shava is throwing down these photon cannons. I imagine those are basically to keep an eye on any movement spelling tries to make outside of this island. Just to basically coordinate and control him, but he probably should put one like up here. And that will guard most of this area out here. See if spelling does make a move. And he does have these colossi keeping an eye over here. So he's basically got spelling corded up here. It has complete map control, which is what you always want in this game. But yeah, so spelling's just basically being stubborn and turtling up, and I'm going to speed this up because it is a long game, and so I don't feel bad about speeding through these real slow parts. So basically all that's going on, that went down. I think that was full too. So bummer on Shava's part, but it's not like he doesn't have the resources to replace these units. So he's definitely going to be okay. And he finally has gotten sentries on these, and I don't mean the unit sentries, I mean sentry in like the actual literal sense, like a sentry as someone who's going to stand guard. And oh, we missed it. My favorite part of this replay. We have to watch that again, I'm sorry. Okay, because I've seen this replay before, and I happened to be watching it the first time I watched it. But this is really fun, because here's spelling here. He finally got some Marines, and he's like, alright, you know, I'm going to make a move. And, because I guess mass Marines almost worked for him last time, so he decided to just stick with the strategy. Why change it up, you know? And so, here he has a bunch of, who wasn't even paying attention, I guess. He has a ton of Colossi. He has 24 Marines that he just loaded to their death. It's like, that's just a real bummer, you know? Like, they all just dropped out and were just incinerated by these Colossi standing guard here. So I just guess, I imagine spelling just wasn't paying attention and just told them to drop off there, and once he realized what was happening, it was just too late. So those guys, they did go down, get melted away, and yeah, that was bad news for spelling. He might have been able to Shava's like, GG, what? And he's like,